body at ease, breathing quiet, sentiment, benevolence. Dharma friends, sitting still in vital silence, wanting nothing, we practice eco-Buddhism together. The sound of the temple bell booms for all to cease from conflict. May the way of Buddha usher in the dawn of non-violent global village forever. Here is the after sound of the bell. Thunder of silence, light after Dharma rain. Om Amoga Vairagana Maha Mudra Mani Padma Chavala Pravataya
Stand and turn to face the altar for our chanting of the three refuges. First, we'll chant the refuges in Sino-Korean, which is in keeping with our tradition. Our founding master came from the monasteries of South Korea. And then we'll do the English. So please follow along as best you can. Please repeat this English version after me. Buddha, the awakened one.
Buddha, the awakened one.
The awakened heart in us all.
The awakened heart in us all.
And the living force of peace.
And the living force of peace.
May I take refuge in Buddha.
May I take refuge in Buddha.
Dharma, the teachings of Buddha.
Dharma, the teachings of Buddha.
Moral discipline and wisdom.
Moral discipline and wisdom.
May I take refuge in Dharma.
May I take refuge in Dharma.
Sangha, the happy and joyous community of all beings.
Sangha, the happy and joyous community of all beings.
May I take refuge in Sangha.
May I take refuge in Sangha.
Please be seated and come a little closer. We're going to have a special speaker this morning. Please help Barbara up.
Yes.
Can you?
Shows to so I can.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you this.
Just before Barbara, I introduce Barbara and we speak, and she speaks. We're going to, I'd like to make a brief introduction for you. So this is Happy Lunar New Year, the New Year of the Wild Horse. And we're going to be chanting for world peace this week. And so I wanted to introduce it to you so you could do it at home all the time. And so you could join us here in the evenings when we do it. So we're just going to chant a little bit. It's Wa, say Wa.
Wa.
Om.
Om.
Song.
Song.
Jung.
Jung.
Wa. Om. Jung. And what it means is, may the Pure Land prevail. And in Buddhism, the Pure Land is the place where all the precepts are kept. So mainly the whole theme of non-harm, non-violence, truth, generosity, all those things. So we chant that in all places, that this be a pure land and precepts kept. So that's what Wa Om Song Jung means. So just a brief while sitting. I can't remember when I last played it. Wow, song, jung, 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 wow, song, jung,
Om Som Jung. 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 Om Som Jung.
When you do the chanting, try to be the instrument. Our body is quite an instrument for music, for chanting. And the spirit and the energy can go out to affect the whole universe. So it's really my great pleasure this morning to introduce a very good friend of mine for the last about 40 years here in Ann Arbor. This is Barbara Brodsky. So why don't you read, get your pad.
Shall I just sit where we're standing there?
You can sit right here and turn and face.
Come.
Sit right here and face. Yeah. I haven't. She needs to read her pad so she knows what
Please
I'm
show me
saying.
where would you like to be?
Hmm?
Where would you like me to be?
Right? Where will you? Right here. Yeah.
Thank you. I will only need this when you're asking questions,
Okay.
not for myself.
Okay. I am going to introduce you now. Okay?
I am profoundly deaf in both ears, so this is my ears.
So it was in about 1989 when Barbara turned up at the door of the historical temple. She had a pad of yellow lined paper and a pen in her hands. And when she rang the doorbell and I opened it, she wrote to me, because I had never seen her before. I've had a voice speaking to me and it sounds like it's all about Buddhism. Can I check with you and see if it really is Buddhism or what it is? And so I was curious. So, okay. So she came in and she wrote some of the things to me that she was hearing. And I said, it sounds just like the Four Noble Truths to me. And everything that she said was like that. So we became friends and we would get together from time to time just to meditate and to talk. And I would always have to write to her until I learned to do sign language, but I only know how to finger spell, and that seemed to work. And then just coming to the door and getting to know each other, she had kids and I had kids. We went out to Friends Lake because she was a Quaker, a practicing Quaker, and we would do camping out there together. she and I, when there's good snow, we would go sledding. I think I would lie on top of her on the sled. It was over at the Huron Valley Golf Course. Yeah, and so things went on, and we eventually, upon Barbara's suggestion, just began to do our peace camp out at Friends Lake at the Quaker sanctuary. And eventually we moved from there because the camp got so big, but we kept up our friendship. She has a group in town called Deep Spring Center for Spiritual Inquiry. And we get together with another Buddhist friend of ours in town, Ora Glazer, every month or 6 weeks. And it's been going on for about 40 years now. Mm-hmm. And of course, we have grown to care for each other a lot. And recently, the last meeting we had, she had lost, she had lost, her husband had a stroke a few years ago, a really massive one. And it required people to come and help her all the time. And she was in grief because one of the caregivers for her husband got a letter from ICE, went to Detroit, and was detained and has not been freed. And so she and her family have been really in grief about that, and also trying to see how they can help him to get released. And so that, along with an activist background during the civil rights movement, and always, like, she turned up for many things, even with her walker, because she cares a great deal. And she has a wonderful wisdom, and she's quite a character, you'll find out. So she's going to speak with us about Dharma, of how do we take the Dharma into these situations that we're faced with these days. So she'll give a talk for maybe 20 minutes or 25, and then there'll be a chance for you to ask questions and make comments. Okay?
Okay.
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 Thank you, Audrey. I'm going to fold my ears up. I'm very happy to be here with you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I've perhaps met some of you out at Peace Camp years ago. It's been a long time. In those days, I could walk, I could dance. Our bodies age. This is the nature of the body. Everything changes. This is the nature of our physical existence. When the conditions are present for something to arise, it will arise. When the conditions cease, it will cease. We can never make it cease if the conditions are still present. And we have control over some of those conditions. The peace in my heart, or the war in my heart. The fear, anger. These will arise because we're young. If I stub my toe, there's going to be pain. I can try to wish the pain away. I can say, I won't have pain, but I have a human body with nerve endings, and there will be pain. Haju, I'm going to switch to that chair because these handles are very awkward. Let me move the walker out of the way and you can put the chair back there. I needed to sit there. Amongst other things, the same illness that deprived me of my hearing, deprived me of all balance. And so, 1972, when my first child was born, something happened. The ears were oxygen starved, the nerves were oxygen starved, and suddenly no hearing. Without the nerves that offer hearing, there's no hearing. I'll share a very short, lovely story with you. At a Buddhist teacher conference out in Spirit Rock in California, I was given a seat in the very front to see if I could read at all. And the Dalai Lama was the main teacher. I had somebody assigning for me. No electronics in those days. And he kept watching us. So finally, at a break, he beckoned me, and I walked up, very heart very open to His Holiness. And he said, "You're deaf." "Yes." "What is deafness like?" "What is deafness like?" "What is hearing like?" No ear organ, no nerves, no hearing. If the conditions are not present, there will not be hearing. This is how it is. We can't always control whether the conditions are present. We can relate to those conditions that are or are not present and control how we relate to them. Whether really trusting in the Dharma and with an open heart, present with what has arisen in our experience, or frightened of it, angry at it. And then anger has arisen. What are the conditions out of which that anger arose? How do I relate to the anger? Way back, over 40 years ago, a friend shared a story. He wanted to become a Theravada Buddhist monk, or at least to ordain as a novice for a year. But he was looking for a monastery in Thailand where English was spoken. People had directed him, "Here's a monastery and they all speak English there. Many speak English. You should go there." So he made a long trek. He had been in other monasteries in Thailand, but they only spoke Thai, and he was not able to get any of the teachings. So he went here with a lot of hope, taking buses and hitchhiking and walking. And finally, he was on the path leading up to the monastery door. And above the door was a big sign, "No anger permitted here." He says he just stopped in his tracks. He said, "I can't go there. I can't start my monastic experience with a lie. And I experience anger." He had to walk away. If the conditions are present, anger will arise. I don't know if you look at the teachings of dependent origination or not. It's probably more part of the Theravada tradition. But we have contact through any of the sense bases: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. With contact, there is consciousness. Contact and consciousness. Something hot. Hot registers as hot, with the fingertip touching and the mind. Hot. A beautiful scent of flowers. Sweet, lovely, smelling consciousness, scent consciousness. When there is contact and consciousness, there will be feeling. As long as we're human, there will always be feeling. Pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. By feeling, I don't mean the wide gamut of feelings of just the million things we feel, but simply pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. When something is pleasant, there will be liking. When something is unpleasant, there will be disliking. When you smell a skunk and it's strong and your eyes are burning and there's a dislike, you don't say, I shouldn't dislike this. This is how the human is. We have to live with respect to our bodies. If it's very hot and I burn myself, there will be dislike. The sweet flower, pleasant, liking. Where we get caught is when liking becomes grasping, or dislike becomes aversion. In my tradition, we call this the active moment. It's the moment where, with a liking, we can either just be still with a liking, pleasant liking, or be still with unpleasant disliking, and not cut into push it away, hang on to it, just liking, just disliking. So that active moment is where the seed of karma comes from. And it's what keeps us going and repeating that kind of habit over and over and over. When something is unpleasant and there's dislike, how do we respond to it? As soon as there's grasping or aversion, we're pulled into, let's say, the next lifetime, although not specifically, not necessarily a lifetime, the next moment. The repetition of this. When something pushes me, if I respond with spaciousness, I'm pulled into one kind of ongoing response. If I push away, a different kind. But when there's intense anger, how do we hold space for that? My friends, sign no anger permitted here. But anger does arise. How do we respond to it? I did not look at my watch at the start. Please give me 5 minutes warning when we should close. A long time ago, 61, I was part of a group of Northern students, Northern Student Movement, that went south with a group called SNCC, Southern Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. We rode buses down to the south, and then they put us where they wanted us, where we could do the most good. Sometimes on freedom rides, sometimes in sit-ins. There was a sit-in and a lunch counter, and my Black companion and I walked in, sat as we've been instructed. A waitress came up and said, "What would you like?" And we both said, "Cokes." And we looked at each other. Is it really going to be this easy? The waitress came up with our Cokes. She handed them out to us, and then she tipped the glasses and dropped them. Not dropped the glasses, but poured the Coke out on each of our heads. And then within a few seconds, police came in and grabbed us and put us out to a police wagon. Anger. Frustration, anger. So there I was in a jail cell with about 20 other women. Not a very big cell, but room enough for us each to, there weren't enough seats, but sitting on the floor. I was pacing up and down. And this very beautiful middle-aged Black woman walked up to me. She had been through the same thing I had. I could see where she had been drenched with something. I could see that she had been dragged, but every hair was in place and she was smiling. And she said to me, "You look angry." I said, "Of course I'm angry. Aren't you angry?" She said, "Yes, I'm very angry." These words have always been with me. Yes, I'm very angry, but I also love them, sweetheart, and they are so afraid. I consider her my first Dharma teacher, way back in 1960-61. Yes, of course, I'm angry, but I also love them, sweetheart, and they are so afraid. So here are the conditions. My fear, other people's fear. My anger, other people's anger. Can I relate to this with compassion, with an open heart? There was a freedom ride in which the bus we were on was forced off the road and came to rest at an angle against a utility pole. Didn't go all the way over, but enough so the people in the top seats dropped it down to the lower seats. It took 15, 20 seconds for us to settle and look around and be sure no one was badly hurt. The people who forced us off the road climbed up on the upper surface of the bus. They pushed open the windows. They started throwing rotten fruit, rocks. This was a first freedom ride for me. Well, a second, but the first one in which there was anything that brought up fear. And I looked around me. How do we handle this? Knowing, yes, we could be killed or hurt. There were fortunately more experienced people on the bus. The whole bus burst out with, "We shall overcome." It's not a statement of anger, "We shall overcome." It's a statement of the heart. Satyagraha, Gandhi's term, soul force. That essence of ourselves, which is peace. Thich Nhat Hanh talks a lot about being peace. I don't know, but I assume some of you at least caught the Buddhist monks and their march. That head monk had such deep stillness. You could feel that he truly was peace. He wasn't putting on an act, "I'll be peaceful." He was peace. This is our awakened nature. We have the capacity for this. And we have the capacity also to fly off the handle and get all stirred up and angry and afraid, because we are human and we have to have compassion for ourselves. As long as we are human, certain emotions are going to arise. Certain physical sensations will arise, and some will be intensely unpleasant. How do we hold space for these? So Haju was talking about last month when we began our visit. I was very agitated because Mamadi, this lovely 20-year-old boy, really. He came to this country, he started his walk, his trek from Guinea, East Africa, at age 16, escaping for his life for political reasons, and having been in situations where he was badly beaten and knew he would not survive. So he left his home. He got across the ocean, came up through Central America and Mexico, came across the border and asked for asylum, and was given asylum. Was allowed to go and live with his aunt and uncle and cousins in Ipsy, who he had never met, but his father's sister. he was 17. He started to attend a high school program for foreign language students. He only spoke French. So he started to attend that program. And in 2 years, he got his high school diploma. This is a boy who had never had any formal education, but a very bright young man. One of our caregivers had met Mamadi at his mosque, where Mamadi and he came to pray together. And he was very impressed with him, and he knew I needed a new caregiver. So he invited Mamadi to come and meet us. My husband is totally helpless. He's paralyzed. He can use his left hand and lift up a cup or something, or feed himself with a spoon, but he can't reposition himself. He can't do anything really for himself. Can't keep himself clean. Can't eat or drink. Can't get in or out of a chair. So we need somebody who is reliable and kind and strong to help him stand up and move. Mamadi fit all of these things. He was just a dream caregiver for us. He was so bright and kind and fast to learn everything. He showed me all the paperwork, his permission to work, the card that's supposed to last till 2030, and all the various paperwork he needed, his application for asylum. The same day that Alex Pettis was murdered in Minneapolis, and some of you probably watched that murder as I did, shaken by it. 2 hours later, Mamadi came in for work with tears in his eyes, very afraid, and showed me the letter from ICE. He has to report for an interview. He didn't understand. He had done everything that was asked of him, sent in the paperwork every month, done everything that was needed. So we arranged a lawyer for him, and my son and the lawyer accompanied him. I just said, "We're detaining you." And Davey asked, "Why?" We're told to detain people, but he has a petition for asylum. That's exactly it. We're told to detain people who are petitioning for asylum, who have come in illegally, because he did cross the border illegally. So he's in a prison, detention camp, but it's really a prison in Baldwin, Michigan. Apparently sleeping on the floor or a wooden slab, no mattress of any sort, no blankets, barely enough food, very cold. He's going now on the contact with us daily, knowing that many of us are working to get him free. We found a lawyer, an experienced immigration attorney, who will take his case pro bono. That means freely, without charge. But we still have to raise about $25,000 for a bond for him, because the paperwork is filed, but it's very likely we have to have letters recommending him, showing what he's done in this country for these past 3 years, 2.5 years, I guess. There's so much anger. You can probably feel it pouring out of me, just telling you about it. How am I taking care of my anger? This was the discussion that Haju and I got into. The first thing that's helping, well, many things are helping. Just chanting the refuges. For me, I chant them in Pali. Budang Saranang Gocchami. Dhammang Saranang Gocchami. Sangang Saranang Gauchami Dutiyami Budang, and so forth. I'm not going to go through it all. But I find repeating the refuges over and over brings me home a bit. It reminds me that right here with anger is that which is not angry. I like to phrase it, that which is aware of anger is not angry. In the human experience, there is anger. This anger has arisen, and I have to hold it. I can't deny it. I have to hold it and take care of it. Here is anger. Where is the one who is not angry? Right here with the anger. And without saying I shouldn't be angry, but acknowledging and holding the anger. Where is the awakened one, the Buddha, that is in each of us? Can I pull it forth? Can I invite it? Just to sit there with the anger. Another chant from my tradition that I love is just the repetition of the Brahma Viharas. Metta is loving kindness, karuna, compassion, mudita, sympathetic joy, and upeka, equanimity. Metta, karuna, mudita, upeka. Metta, karuna, mudita, upeka. And I go on with that for 10 or 15 minutes until I start to feel more settled. I'm not forcing myself to be settled. I'm inviting the conditions that can allow me to open into this one who knows, this awakened essence. And this is why we practice. We don't practice it to create some artificial stillness, but to wake up to the truth of who we are and to be able more stably to rest in that truth, even when everything is shaking us, to rest in our awakened nature, which is love, which is compassion, which is wisdom. And we never get it perfectly. We're human. There's a meditation. Give me a moment. This 83-year-old brain can't always pull up at names. Milarepa, a story about the Tibetan saint Milarepa. He's meditating in front of his fire when the demons of fear and anger and hatred appear. They have sticks. They think they're going to scare him away. But he takes one look at them and says, I've been expecting you. Come, sit by my fire, have tea. I think this is what we're doing through much of our lives. We're remembering, not learning how to, but remembering the capacity to invite our demons into tea and not to create a separation for those demons. Because, of course, that anger, that fear, that potential for hatred is within me. Again, satyagraha, soul force, the power of our awakened nature to hold everything, that capacity. And to move deeply into a place of compassion. I'm probably running out of time. I can always talk longer, but I'm happy to leave it there and open to questions.
Let's go to questions.
Okay. I need my iPad so I can hear your questions.
Questions?
Testing.
Are you ready? Hello. I know that Milarepa won well, and where I struggle in these moments, and I can sometimes create the space between initial feeling and reaction, but how do you suggest allowing space so there isn't an immediate reaction?
Thank you. I hear your question. There's going to be immediate reaction. We're human. The question is not, will there be an immediate reaction, but how mindful am I able to be of the arising of that reaction, feeling it as energy, just contracting. Breathing in, I am aware of the contraction. Breathing out, I offer space around the contraction. Asking myself, what is my intention? Is it to perpetuate the contraction and make it a weapon? Or is it to be aware of the contraction and have it be a reminder to come home to my innate spaciousness, compassion, awakened nature? And I'm not saying it's easy, but this is the heart of our practice. In every moment, there are things that push at us. How do we really One of the things that I do with students is a Tai Chi exercise. Would you come up for a moment and help me? Stand with the side facing the other way. Okay. And come up this way more. This arm facing my arm. Okay. Turn around more. Okay. So you're, yeah. Okay. So push. When something pushes, we push back. Now, what if he pushes? Push.
I don't want to push too
Keep
hard.
pushing. I'm not giving him, there's no resistance. He keeps pushing. And I can sit here and do it forever because I'm not contracted. I let it slip past me. This in Tai Chi, I guess, exercise is called pushing arms. And try it again. Just push and push way past me. See how it goes past. Push against my arm. And no resistance. I'm not running away. I'm just not pushing back. Can you see how that works? So out of the Buddha Hall, at some point, you might like to try that. Thank you for helping. It's a wonderful exercise because when it's done mindfully, we see the contraction in ourselves as something pushes. And we see the place where we have that moment of choice. The old habit to push back or letting it go past. And that doesn't mean that I accept my body's being imprisoned. But my pushing back doesn't come from a place of anger anymore. It comes from a place of love. It makes it very different. But we're still going to get this boy out of prison. Okay.
Thank you so much for your talk. To follow up quickly on that demonstration. Hello. to follow up quickly on that demonstration, I'm thinking about how something I sincerely struggle with is and have as far as I can remember, and that is, for someone who became acquainted with anger or conflict and did not advocate for myself or stand up for myself, this ability to
Excuse me, this went off. I need to reset it. Go ahead.
this ability to be able to respond, to show myself love and compassion, but balance that with love and compassion for the world, if this makes sense. I'm trying to articulate it.
I'm
Hoping-
not quite getting your question.
Okay.
Maybe it's the
How-
translation, but would you repeat the question again from start? I'm going to pull this around so I can put my iPad on it instead of holding it on my lap. It will make it easier.
This gives me time to think a little bit, so that's good.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I think maybe not so much a question, but maybe you have a response to this. I struggle with either not responding to the thing that is making me angry and feeling like I am helpless, or responding and that coming from a place of anger. And I think what I'm getting this message from you is that patience, I need more patience.
It's permission to be human. This human is made up of nerve endings. If it touches fire, it will feel heat. It will feel burn. It will feel intense dislike. This human is made up of emotions and emotional nerve endings. If something attacks me, I will contract. I will feel afraid. But in our practice, just sit, and there's an itch, just the itch, unpleasant. From the unpleasantness of the itch, the impulse wanting to scratch the itch, presence watches this. Mindfulness that is not saying, do this, don't do that, just mindfulness. And we start to find the enormity of space that's in us, to be present with something that's hard. It may scare us, that's okay. Then fear becomes the next object. We start to find, IMS is the word I like, dynamic compassion. It's not compassion for this or that, it's compassion. It's the essence of compassion. We start to trust ourselves with that essence. And it starts with small things, like sitting at your table and maybe you're terrified of spiders or mice. And here comes this spider across your table, or a little mouse. And there's a whack it impulse, and you stop, noting fear, seeing. And out of that dynamic compassion, this is a living being. Instead of killing it, I will gather it up and put it outside. And then we start to trust that we have that capacity. It's much easier with a spider or a mouse than somebody greeting you with a stick. But gradually we start to trust the enormity of our capacity as awakened humans. And yes, we're all awake, even though we may not yet know it. We're all awake. We're not struggling to wake up so much as to become aware that we're already awake.
Hello. My question kind of has three parts. I was wondering how long your caregiver has been detained, if you have found a replacement caregiver and if you're doing anything to raise funds for his bond.
He's been detained for a little over a month now. We've found a new caregiver who actually is soloing this morning for the first time. After training with other caregivers, it takes a couple of weeks of training to learn how to use the mechanical equipment and how to care for this man. Actually, the man who's there this morning is going to be moving into my house next month. He's a very kind man with no experience of this, but he's terrific. We're launching a campaign this weekend. My two sons and I, two of my three sons, the third lives in Seattle and has not been much a part of it. But two of them and I, and others, the other caregivers who knew him and his two cousins and others, we're starting Devious, getting a GoFundMe going. And we're getting a letter writing campaign going. We found somebody who would love to hold this all together and try to keep all the parts organized. And we're determined. We're going to free this boy. I want to show you a picture. I don't want to stop that iPad, so I'm going to open what is my old iPad. I didn't know which one was going to work. They have different dictation programs on them. These are two of my caregivers, Mamadi and Zach. Zach made the puppets. Mamadi standing next to him, and my granddaughter is in the middle. You can see the light in Mamadi's eyes. It just breaks my heart that this young man is in prison, and in such a cruel way. And this is the kind of, I don't want to talk politics here. It just feels like this is the kind of person that our country can best benefit by. So yes, this is what we're doing. We welcome help. If you have any interest to help, please, before I leave, let me know, or better yet, email me. My email address is, my center is Deep Spring Center. My email address is simply deepspringbarbara@gmail.com. Email me and put Mamadi in the title, Mamady.
Thank you for the Dharma talk today. I really didn't have a question. I just wanted to make a statement. My teacher told me in my practice, he said, all emotions arise from our sixth sense consciousness and our sixth sense awareness. And that's where they arise from. And my awareness, I can see them as they are. The young lady spoke about a spider. Years ago, I had the same reaction. But today, I cannot violate my first precept. do no harm, but cherish all life. And I take that to heart. And that's what happens here. One day in the meditation hall, my teacher put a cup in the middle of the meditation hall. And he said, I want you all to meditate upon that cup and tell me what it says. And I went to his chambers and I told him that a cup, as she just taught, a cup sits open and empty, silent and still. It don't reject anything going in, nor do attach to anything going out. He said, you could put milk, juice, pop, tea, water into a cup. The content changes, but the nature of the cup stays the same. Events and circumstances change, but my Buddha nature always stays the same. And that's based on my practice and my awareness. And I thank her for them truthful Dharma words of the Buddha. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Yes, and we're all the cup. And things come in and flow out. And with your cup, the nature of the cup is not changed, dependent on whether there's tea or milk or juice in it. It's still the cup. But because we're made of the essence of humans with emotions and nerve endings, we believe we are changed. But our practice helps us to come to that center where we know who and what we are. This awakened, I call it heart-mind. To know this awakened heart-mind essence that doesn't change depending on the conditions. It's still. And it's expansive, not just still, it's everything. Because when I'm there and you're there, we're in the same place. When things come into my life, like Mamadi's arrest, or anything that might come in, just pain in my body, my teacher has asked me to stop and say, thank you, teacher. To regard whatever has come to me. If it's unpleasant, or even if it's pleasant and there's liking and grasping, thank you, teacher. And remind myself to come back to a place of center. Who or what is it moving toward aversion, moving toward grasping? No self, just habitual pattern. Let it go. Come back home again and again. Thank you, teacher.
Do you still have your question? Maybe this can be the last one.
Hello. Thank you for your lovely talk. So in your story, you talk about individuals who may be afraid or may be given into power or violence, such as those who detain Mamadi. Around us in this world, there are some who are afraid, and I'm curious, how can we interact with them without anger and also be able to stand up for what is right?
When we are ready to, when the conditions are ready for us to respond from more spaciousness, compassion, and wisdom, we'll be able to. If not, if we're still caught in old conditions, then we come back to this push, the pushing arms practice. This push, this throwing me off center and makes me want to push back. This is just adding more violence into the world, more negativity. Then the question, how do I say no if I'm not going to react? Well, I said no back in the 60s with freedom rides and sit-ins and so forth. But I know there was still a lot of anger in me. I was not past that. There was a demonstration that went on every week. We would go out there, my group, with some picket signs. And people who were angry at us would push at us. And there was one man who particularly latched on to me and came over and pushed me onto the ground every week. I was just 18 years old. I knew nothing about any of this at that point. Only, I'm going to be peaceful. And so I lay there on the ground with my head covered as I had been taught. And with his feet, he was kicking at me, but I could tell he wasn't kicking at me to break ribs. He was more trying to humiliate me. And I just lay there, and finally people would pull him off. And he was always belligerent and I think a bit drunk. 6 weeks went by with us repeating this, and lots of people started to come to watch the show that was going on every week. And I didn't know what to do. The man had said to me, "I'll see you next week if you're not too scared." And I was terrified. I had the blessing of an old Quaker who was guiding part of this. His name was E.J. Musty. And he was a very centered, loving, and wise older man, experienced. And he took me off and talked to me each week. And he says, "I'll see you next week if you're not too scared. I'm terrified." And EJ said to me, "Of course you're terrified. Can you have compassion for yourself, for your fear?" That's the heart of it. Because when I can have compassion for my fear, then I can have compassion for his fear. Fear doesn't need to be justified. It's arisen from conditions. It doesn't mean that anything beyond the fear is right or wrong, but this is fear. What that woman in the cell said, "Of course I'm scared, but I also love them, sweetheart, and they are so afraid." So somehow after these weeks, this started to get through to me. And that 7th week, the kick stopped, and I looked up at him, and our eyes connected. And he stopped. He backed up. He looked at me. He said, "Why do you keep coming back?" I could hear in those days. "Why do you keep coming back?" I said, "Probably the same reason you keep coming back." He held a hand out to me, and I thought maybe it's a trick. But I took his hand, and he helped me stand up. And he said, "Let's take a few friends, each of us, and go and sit somewhere and talk." We went down the street to a pizza bar. We talked. We started meeting there every week. We broke into several groups. A dialogue started between the side A and side B, so to speak. And we learned to hear each other, because it's the only way we're going to get past this. Not to separate ourselves into I'm right, they're wrong, but to hear, deep listen. What is this person saying? What are their fears? In what way am I the face of their fears? How can we learn to trust each other and hear each other? So this is how we break through it on a human level, whether it's in a civil rights demonstration or just an argument with somebody with whom you share a home. How do we hear each other? I don't know if that answers your question.
Thank you.
Feel free to speak further if you wish.
I think it answers my question. Thank you.
I believe we're also on the edge of a change in human consciousness. from a smaller individuated consciousness, moving toward a more global and connected consciousness, a more awakened consciousness, worldwide. When we keep ourselves into the small self that needs to defend, needs to fight, needs to prove something, we're limiting ourselves in that area of consciousness. I don't want to go into it now. In one of my books, I have a whole chapter on states and stages of consciousness. And it's a book called Cosmic Healing. You can find that chapter if you wish. It should be available somewhere online. But are we willing to move into this next stage of consciousness, state of consciousness, where we're letting go of the armoring that we've lived in and start to truly live with connection to each other? Knowing we're literally all one, not just figuratively, but literally interconnected. If one person walked into the door with rage, we'd all feel it. If one person walked into the door, picture the Dalai Lama walking into the door and smiling at us all. Wow, you'd really feel that energy.
Thank you. Announcements.
I need to restart this. It's running way back. It's been a delight to spend time. Thank you, and thank you for your practice. Because this is the only thing that's really going to get us through. It's not mental gymnastics, but really coming to this place deep within ourselves, that one who is awake, the one who knows, knowing our interconnection and our power of love and compassion. This is where your practice takes you. Thank you. Thank you, Haju, for inviting me to come in and talk. All this from that knock on the door and my asking what is Buddhism. I had no idea. I was raised in a Jewish home and I was a Quaker. And I knew nothing about Buddhism. But it was clear to me that what I was being taught was, I was deaf. I was sitting in meditation and somehow touching in on a deep place of wisdom.
He's also an artist, sculptor, and taught sculpture at the University of Michigan, and has written several books. Grateful to have you in our community.
Just put it here with my bags. Thank you. Oh, we're going up.
No, stay for a minute. Announcements
Ceremony.
and
Announcements.
Yes.
So shall I go up?
Yeah,
Yes.
no. Okay, go on. Well, good morning and welcome everyone. We always look forward to seeing you. There's a service like this, well, similar, every Sunday at 10 a.m. And we welcome families, especially on the second Sunday of the month when we have a Dharma talk that's geared to children. The next family service is March 8th. And we have Together Action every Saturday from 3 to 5. I'm part of that. This work practice and community building is aimed at maintaining our temple buildings and grounds. We consider hands-on work a vital aspect of our Buddhist practice. As we care for the temple, we care for ourselves. In celebration of the new year, please join us at 6:30 p.m. all week in the Sangha House. Our first service is this evening. This year, we're offering special opportunities every Saturday after the morning service to reconnect and build pathways of relationship. Join us in person or online. There's Ask a Buddhist,
the first Sunday from noon to 1. Do you have questions about Buddhist teachings or looking for a direction on what to read next? Join Dharma teachers in a Q&A session about any topic of interest to you. And then the family service, that's the second Sunday. That starts at 9:45. Enjoy Jataka tales and other Buddhist stories for kids of all ages. Upasada service is the third Sunday of each month from 2 to 3:30. Engage in meaningful conversations about the unfolding of Buddhist precepts in everyday life. This service is held by Mosam Sam, and they're in the front row. And a Sangati, the fourth Sunday from noon to 1. Meet formally with the advisory council members and teachers to reflect on the morning Dharma service, the talk, and to learn more about the temple mission and programs and share ideas about what's next. And this is new, so it's not going to start this month. It's going to start March 29th, the fourth Sunday of next month. And then ongoing classes. We have yoga with David Black every Tuesday from 6:30 to 8. Beginning and experienced students in the classes learn traditional yoga postures, hatha yoga, with an emphasis on relaxation, concentration, and working with the breath. Qigong with Samatha Cyrus Scholl meets every Monday from 6:30 to 8. When we offer meditation classes on a regular basis. The class includes simple stretching exercises, working with the breath, meditation postures, concentration, and mindfulness practice. Everything you need to know to support your home practice. And we have a 5-week version, and that's 2 hours of instruction a week, starting at 6:30 on Thursday evenings, and the next class is going to start March 19th. And then there's also a version where you come at 7 p.m., stay overnight until noon the next day, a compressed version, and includes a breakfast, not to be missed, at the temple. Alrighty? And sleep. Yes, you sleep in between. And the next one of those is going to be March 27th to 28th. We have an evening sitting for the Sangha every Wednesday evening from 6:30 to 8:30. All Sangha members are encouraged to come and practice midweek. We also hold an early Sunday morning sitting for members each Sunday starting at 6:30, and that includes breakfast too. The temple currently has vacancies in our residential visitors program. That program is for people who want to spend some time living in a Buddhist community. They follow the daily schedule and participate in the programs, such as retreats, study groups, public services, and yoga classes as their schedules permit. You can seriously pursue your spiritual path or simply seek peace and harmony in a wholesome environment. Then there's an online Sangha, and that meets every Sunday night from 8 to 9:30. That joins with practitioners also from our Toronto and New York temples, as well as those living at a distance. And the Zoom link is on our website. For details about any of these classes, please talk to one of our Dharma teachers who are wearing gray, and there are sign-up sheets out in the lobby. And we also have a page of announcements out for this month and next month out there too that you can pick up. I also want to add that the Crazy Wisdom Journal this month, the cover story is our leadership, and it's an excellent long article about the temple leaders, and there are quite a few trappies out there right next to where the teacups are out there. Pick one up.
Could I add a
No, well, except for the donation part.
You finished.
Okay. And I'm also supposed to say about Recovery Dharma. He left already. He's across in the historic Yellow Temple over there, and that starts at noon. And the temple is entirely supported by your generous donations. There's a fishbowl in the lobby, plus a PayPal QR code and an electronic credit card service. Thank you.
A couple of PSs. We're trying to develop our Qigong course on Monday evenings, and Samatha, who is our instructor, is here. So if you have questions about it or you're interested to know more, be in touch with Samatha. And
if you want to know more about the push hands that Barbara mentioned, I can talk about that with you.
I didn't hear what you said.
I can talk about push hands as well.
Oh,
Barbara
yeah,
mentioned.
yeah. Okay. And the other thing I'd like to welcome from our Chicago temple, Pahok, his Buddhist name, Curtis, who's in town. He's been coming to the temple since he was a small child, and he's currently at the stage of trying to find out which college he's going to choose for the rest of his education, and is visiting U of M, so we're hoping he'll be here. And this is his dad, Saman. Yeah. So welcome to both of you. It's really nice to have folks from our other temples, and encourage you when you're in New York, Chicago, Toronto, the Hudson Valley, to visit.
Mexico City.
Oh, Mexico City too. And even you can stay. You know, if you like a place to stay, we have a temple stay program. Of course, and welcome to all of you. Come here. Yeah. So let's stand and finish with take care of those who are just new to the foreground. All beings, one body.
All beings, one body.
I vow to liberate.
I vow to liberate.
Blind passions, one root.
Blind passions, one root.
I vow to terminate.
I vow to terminate.
Dharma gates, one mind.
Dharma gates, one mind.
I vow to penetrate.
I vow to penetrate.
The great way of Buddha.
The great way of Buddha.
I vow to realize.
I vow to realize.
I'm just making 3 vows. There's this expression, which is kind of what Barbara talked with us about at the end of her talk. When in doubt, bow. So, you know, when this is happening, this is a bow. Yeah. So let's practice. Yeah. And as usual, we will put away all of the mats and cushions except for the ones touching the center carpets. And Barbara is here for a little while before she goes back home. Do you like to help her with the mamami work that they're doing, or ask any questions? She'll be there.